if you are passionate about solving a problem, just start doing something. And by doing something, then we can prove that things can be different, and not just being all the time saying like, oh, this thing is not working, the other thing is not working, but how we can bring our own agency and try to show that things can be done in a different way.
My name is Katrin Käufer, and the last 30 years I've worked in the field of finance because I believe that we cannot address the challenges we face without a transformation of the financial sector, and that every financial decision we take, whether it's where we have our accounts, where we invest in, is writing the story of our future. And I feel super honored to have a guest here with me, Mercedes Bidart. I'm so happy you are here. Your background is actually as a political scientist and an urban planner, studies in a different field, but you also decided that in order to address the issues we face, finance is essential. And you're originally from Argentina, but you are now CEO and co-founder of Quipu Bank in Colombia. And you choose this path because you want to address the issues of the informal economy that you experienced in Argentina. People who live in part of an economy that's not connected to the mainstream economy and lack access to a lot of the tools and methods you actually need in order to be part of the overall economy. But maybe we could quickly start off with, what is Quipu?
Great, thank you, Katrin. I'm really happy to be here, and hello to everybody that you are all around the world. It's amazing. I'm calling from Medellin, Colombia right now. And yeah, so what we do at Quipu, we basically solve the gap that exists on funding micro businesses in Latin America. This gap is of more than $1.4 trillion. And it happens mostly because there's no data about these businesses. 9 out of 10 of them are informal. This means they don't have financial statements, they don't have a bank account. So then when they go to ask for a loan to grow their business, they don't have enough information to assess their risk. So they end up relying on predatory lenders, what in the US it's called shark loans, or this type of violent and non-legal loans. So in a way, what we have developed is an alternative scoring system that looks at non-financial data to assess creditworthiness using AI mostly. So that's the way in which we can predict the risk of a new person, of a new client, and basically giving access to working capital so then they can scale their business and don't rely on this informal lending that it's really spread across Latin America.
So the topic today is business and finance. So why did you start Quipu and not a nonprofit? So your goal was to help people who are marginalized, who cannot access mainstream economic system, who need other pathways. So why a business and not a nonprofit? Why a business and not a nonprofit?
Yes. So at the beginning, we thought that maybe the idea we were having and the type of beneficiary and the problem we are solving, it was better to be a nonprofit. Like at the beginning, we thought about that. I come from that sector, so I come from the social sector. So I always, my mindset was around building an NGO. But when we started doing that, we noticed that it had a lot of limitations in order to grow. So if we really wanted to prove that a different financial system could be possible, then we needed to, be playing with the same rules and showing that actually the rules can be different, and that we can redesign the rules in which the financial system works. And that's why we said we need to prove not just that this type of user can have, or this type of business can have an access to capital, but also we need to prove that a different business can be possible. Like we can build a business that in the center has like, you know, I think that like a social business is, if the business grows, the impact grows. It's not that we are just growing a business and then we give $1 per sale we do to a social cause. No, it's like if we grow in the center of what we are doing and we prove that this is possible, then the business grows. So we decided to be a business because we wanted to be more scalable and to show that actually we can do business in a different way. And well, we are on that journey, right? We're trying to prove it right now.
I think what you're saying is really interesting, and I see this with a lot of the banks I work with, is this idea of impact something that's an add-on, you know, something nice, or
Mm.
is it core to your business model, how you run your
Yeah.
business? And that immediately has implications, you know, how you connect to your clients, how you deal with your clients. So when you look at Quipu today, do you feel you have impact? And how would you describe your impact?
Yes, of course. So when we think about, you know, the financial system, it's there's a lot of problems in the financial system. Mostly is, you know, the how expensive is capital, how actually that capital is not going into the hands of people that have, you know, there's a certain sector in the world that has always been left out of the financial system. And being poor is extremely expensive. So when you are poor, like the financial products are worst. And when you have money, the financial products for you are better, right? So then you will have more chances of growing if you are starting with a base of having money, or if you are starting with, like, if you were born at a place or at a family where you didn't have money. So then the financial system is actually making it more, you know, that gap and that inequality is making it bigger in a way. So what we are trying to do is saying, okay, if there's this certain you know, sector in the world that they are not accessing money, why they're not accessing money, and we notice that they're not accessing money because the financial system cannot understand them. If I don't have data on how your business, they are even street vendors, I'm talking about like really, really small businesses. If I don't have information on how the business is working, or a credit history of yourself, then they cannot assess creditworthiness, right? They cannot give a loan. I mean, they cannot give you money. So we are making impact by saying we can use other types of data to assess creditworthiness. We can, you know, we shouldn't be just looking at their reputation, because maybe they don't have, because they've been historically left out. So then how you build a credit history, right? So there's where we started in saying we make impact by gathering a different type of data, by being able to, you know, give money and make money flow into the hands of these type of people, and then helping them grow their business.
What I find really interesting in what you've just said is, and I think this is in a way really the innovation that you bring. So you have an impact lens or impact perspective, and you create products and solutions from this impact perspective. So you make profit, because without a profit you cannot survive, but you innovate, and what is guiding your, you know, your practice is, I want to find a solution for this group of people. But at the same time, you are part of this huge financial system. So, you know, what's your learning? I mean, being part of this system while you're trying to hold this impact lens.
Yeah, so when you're trying to build a social business, there are, and mostly in the financial sectors, like, is the most difficult thing to combine. It has a lot of contradictions. I put different hats, and this is being recorded, I don't care, but it's basically like whoever you talk to, you need to put different hats in how you explain what you're doing. If I'm talking to an investor, then I need to say, oh, this is a big market. Like, you know, you will have like maybe a good opportunity, a good business opportunity. If you're talking to more an impact, you know, oriented, it's like, we want to make a really big impact. And that's the core of why I started it, right? But then when you're trying to make it happen and you are trying to talk with so many stakeholders, then you need to be able also to understand what their, drivers are. And not all of us, like here we are 700 people, maybe all of us have this driver of we want to see a different world, but we need to deal with other people that they don't want to see a different world. They don't care, right? And we need to bring them in, even if they don't know that they are coming in what we want to see happening. So basically, yeah, it's all these contradictions and all these different stakeholders that we need to deal with. But I think that what is important is not forgetting on why we started what we are doing, and coming in all the time, coming back to that origin of purpose.